Are you feeling stuck and tired of dating going nowhere? There are so many missed opportunities for real connection because of the world we live in. We live in an age of exaggerated fears, and it's easy to want to hide out and protect ourselves. Everyone who dates has felt rejected, not wanted, and even stepped on. I know because I've been listening to the stories for more than 40 years. Dating leaves people lonelier than they were to begin with. Good-hearted, lovely folks end up feeling defensive or silent, withholding, not trusting, and building walls, which keeps people out instead of letting potential dates in. So easy to not find the right partner. Let me share with you ways to be less frustrated, how to make better choices, and learn skills to be more confident and be on your way to a more authentic relationship. Let's change things up if you're willing to work and look at yourself. I want to help more of you than the one by one that trickle into my office, sharing the hardships of dating. Today, you will get 3 values to embrace for greater success, 3 good signs in a healthy potential partner, and 6 fresh ways to examine yourself, ways to improve you to date with more success. 3 values to improve the odds of success when dating. I really love the books by Jane Austen because she writes about the things that really matter. And if you're not into reading, consider movies based on her books, like Emma or Mansfield Park. In both movies and books, she teaches the value of honesty and respect and character. She also writes about the danger of charm. If she was writing today, she would most certainly include the value of curiosity over the false safety of skepticism. So let's explore these 3 values as a more solid base for you to operate from. Information is most certainly power. The more you rely on being curious and asking questions, the more information you will have. Instead of being guarded or building walls to protect yourself prematurely, try exploring how might they be decent as a human being. Ask yourself, are you open or skeptical and withdrawn? It's important to be able to make this distinction when we're meeting and developing connection with somebody brand new. Curiosity benefits everyone who dates. Curious people are often considered good listeners and good conversationalists. Cultivating your curiosity will benefit you dating because you'll learn to ask better questions and to have more interests, and that makes you more interesting. The happiness research says the more curious that you are, the more zest you have for life, the happier you're going to be. So there's a payoff for everybody. Instead of being cynical, try peeking out from behind your walls, because then you won't miss small opportunities for connection. Give yourself a little bit of a curiosity challenge. When you're standing in the grocery line, watch people. Do they talk with the cashier? Do they run to the machine checkouts? What is the name of your cashier? Does she look tired? Does she look bored? The more you can expand your focus and curiosity, the more you might be able to bring it into a useful tool on a date. Honesty is still in style. Stay real about small things you like and you don't. The more you practice being authentic, the better off you're going to be. You like opera? I've only been once. I don't think I really liked it. What's so terrible about telling the truth? Don't pretend to be someone you're not. Let your radar for icky humans take a break and try finding out how to enjoy someone new over coffee or a drink. It's a date, not the rest of your life. It's so easy to shut down someone else and be judgmental or hide out by playing games. If I could pick one thing to sprinkle on you to have a better success rate in dating, it would be courage. You have to try to find the courage to be more authentic. You have to have faith that being more authentic will pay off in finding someone who really knows you for who you really are. Then you need to practice being more authentic in small ways with people at work, people in your family, and your friends. So, in my podcast, I offer people a challenge. Today's challenge will be to start with your imagination and just complete this sentence as many times as you possibly can. I was annoyed when you blank. And just see how many people you come up with something that you've swallowed that you could have said. I'm not asking you to say it. I'm asking you to be aware that being annoyed can be a clue to something that you want to be a little bit different in a relationship. And sometimes you want to make a choice to share that want. I really believe that respect is more important than love. And I think it's a quality that we don't spend enough time considering. Respect gives a little bit more room to not like something somebody does. However, you still respect their choices and who they are. So I want you to think about some past relationships. Did you feel respected? Whether it's a grandmother, an uncle, a mom, a dad, a boyfriend in high school, a girlfriend in high school. Did you respect them? Do you feel respected? And keep in mind when you're dating, it's not a yes, but situation. Yes, but they don't make enough money. Yes, but they aren't taller than me when I wear heels. The but erases the yes. Respect is the linchpin to relationships. People get divorced because they lose respect for each other. 3 things to build on when dating. This is just a taste of things you might consider are positive signs in someone else. There will be more offered in the online course. The following are only 3, but they're meant to be encouraging signs going forward. Dialogue is very rare. It's exceptionally rare. Sometimes someone is a chatterbox or very silent because they are nervous. If someone's a chatterbox, see if they can be interrupted instead of sitting there annoyed. If someone is silent, consider asking some good questions that might help grease the wheels a bit. Ideally, you want some rhythm, some back and forth instead of what many couples do, parallel monologues that go nowhere. So be sure to make contributions to the conversation and ask questions. Both are important to keep rhythm going in dialogue. Do they have friends and support? This is a really good question. There don't need to be thousands in their support system, but a handful. If they just moved, do they have friends in other places? Friendships are a good sign. They also would never try to isolate you from your own friends if they are mentally healthy. This is something manipulative people do. They isolate you and make excuses about why it's important to just be the two of you. And the third thing, do they have a life of their own? Are they waiting for someone to come along and plug the empty hole inside of them? That's a very bad sign. Do they do things that are interesting to them? And of course, this is a really good question to apply to yourself as well. Now I want to continue taking a look at you. Besides having a life of your own, let's consider 6 more aspects about you to have more positive dating results. This is a really important question to ask yourself. Do you suffer from exaggerated guilt? Particularly when it's a part of your religious culture. Many people have distorted ideas about guilt. Guilt sets up emotional traps for everybody. New partners can use your own guilt to manipulate you. It's a really good idea to sort out what is appropriate, reasonable guilt that may be an obligation that you have, and what is exaggerated, unreasonable guilt that spins you around in circles and sets you up for trouble with someone else who doesn't have your best interests at heart. You never want to parent a partner. You've certainly heard, particularly women, refer to their spouse as one of the 4 children they have. That's a really bad sign. Nobody has sex with their mother. You do not want to parent a partner. I can't emphasize this enough. Number 1, some folks need to rein in their caretaking skills, particularly if they are contributing to building a lopsided relationship. Ask yourself, how lopsided have you allowed relationships in the past to be? Number 2, do they want to be loved no matter what? Children want to be loved no matter what. It is always a bad sign if they are an adult and expect to be forgiven over and over and over again without changing their behavior. That is unreasonable. That is not something you want to do. Many young people leap into sexual intimacy as a shortcut when dating. The intimacy of sharing stories and emotions requires time. So you need to ask yourself, is sex easier? And a way to avoid emotional intimacy, because that's harder. And of course, I'm always going to check in with people. Do you use protection? It's incredibly important to protect yourself. Boundaries really matter. It's a good thing to have boundaries in a relationship. So I want you to ask yourself, do you set boundaries with family members? No, today's not a good day to come over. Thank you very much. Do you set boundaries with friends? Boundaries are instrumental in healthy relationships. Make sure you practice small, medium, and large boundaries with family and friends, which will add to more positive dating experiences. Owning your own dark side will contribute to making you less judgmental of other people. It's so easy to blame and be critical of others. We all would rather point the finger at someone else. Real change requires examining yourself. Know what areas you need to work on and how you contributed to problems in relationships that were a part of your past. I'd like you to write down anywhere from 3 to 10 past relationships with anybody, not just boyfriends or girlfriends, and write down your contribution to the problem. That is a great beginning because some of the scariest monsters are really inside of us. We can really only learn about ourselves from other people. The purpose of relationships is to make us better people. Relationships are a people growing machine is a quote from David Schnark that I really love. So stop and seriously consider all the things you've learned from past relationships and write down what you've learned as a way to solidify your knowledge and be clear of how you are a better person from having experienced relationships. To review, stay open, not walled off and cynical. Stay curious instead of skeptical. Have some compassion instead of being so critical. Find courage. The more honest you are about who you are with other people, the more successful you will be dating. Don't be afraid to look at yourself and change because fortune really does favor the bold. Something that's been true since medieval times. Remember, you are not alone. Today's webinar was a small taste of the promise I make to all the people who come to my office for help. However you arrived, you will leave thinking or feeling in a fresh new way in order to get results. There are 7 modules you can work with at your own speed. A private Facebook community where questions can be answered and support given. There will be homework ideas to advance your skills at the end of each module. Today's webinar was just the beginning, a small taste so you know this course is worth doing to have more dating success. Open enrollment happens 3 times a year, so if the course link below doesn't work, add your name to the email list for notice of the next sign-up opportunity. Thanks for watching.